Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. My name's Josh Wood, and I'm one of the directors of Terraglide, and I've come today to talk a little bit about why we're in the off-grid zone, some discussion around suspension and some of the technology we've put in, and about travelling this beautiful country of ours. So I guess maybe the first question everyone will have is, who is Terraglide and where do we come from? We're a relatively new brand, but we do come from a great automotive heritage, which I'll run you through. So Terraglide's come from Premcar, which most people know through their tie-ups with ProDrive Racing for performance vehicles, and they've developed a really long list of quite famous cars. Most of them, the older ones, are up around the $100,000+ mark. So you know, they've got that really great pedigree of developing cars, suspension systems and automotive products in Australia. So Terraglide, the engineering has been done in partnership with Premcar, and Premcar are also doing the build. So although it's a new brand, it's not a new company. It's got a lot of heritage and experience in suspension development and automotive technology, which is what we've tried to put into our newly designed suspension system. Yep, so some cars there. Obviously the FPV cars are pretty famous, and you see them getting around. Most of them are stored in someone's shed these days. We also did some work for Toyota Racing Development back in 2008. And those cars, you know, that shows that Premcar's process and manufacturing capability can meet the Toyota standards. Toyota's a very premium product. They've got a lot of requirements, and Premcar systems are able to deliver to that. And we're currently doing at Premcar, we're doing the Nissan Warrior products. So there's the Navara Warrior and the Patrol Warrior. And we also get to do some really fun projects as well. So we did a project for North America, which is a vintage Bronco on a modern chassis, where that frame's been shortened and all new suspension geometry designed by Premcar. So it just shows that the engineers at Premcar have the talent and capability to design a suspension system for the Caravan. And we saw a real opportunity to bring some of that automotive technology across into the caravan industry. And yeah, the engineering development program, it's a gateway-based system, and we run through about 12 months to develop the suspension from start to till we produce our first unit. So it's got a whole lot of steps that we go through, testing, building prototypes, design release, and then into our launch readiness. And some of the technology we can use in modern day automotive is to do stuff, it's called virtual analysis. So before you build anything, you can do all the virtual testing. You can make sure the geometry of the suspension is how you want it to be. You can make sure it's strong enough. You can do that all before you've built stuff. The days of building, trialling, rebuilding, trialling has gone. It's a lot quicker, this process, and a lot more robust. You're a lot more likely to come out with the right solution at the end of the process. So I'll step into Terraglide now. Enough about Premcar. So Terraglide, we've got a couple of different suspension systems. We've got a coil spring and air spring, tandem axle 3500 and 4500, and a single axle 3000 kilo. We also have a disc brake option and a drum brake option. And some of the industry-leading new features we were able to design into our suspension. So maybe one of the main key points is we've got a semi-trailing arm suspension layout, and what that means is it's not just a trailing arm that goes straight across the Caravan and the wheel comes straight up and down. There's a complex geometry that allows the camber and toe to change as your wheel goes through its motion, which really helps you Caravan balance, and I'll show you some videos in a second, but that's one of the things we can optimise through our simulation. We run an anti-roll bar between the left and right of the Caravan, and that really keeps your Caravan stable while allowing us to run a softer spring rate. And that does a multitude of things. You know, it really helps you wheel through the motion, take the bumps, absorb your Caravan from the road is the main one. And also through the geometry, we're able to get a lot more travel. So we're running 230mm travel, whereas most of the competitive suspensions around that 120 to 140mm mark. So quite a substantial change. Our jounce bumper as well is designed, so that's the basically the end stop on your suspension when you hit those really big bumps and you're smacking your, you know, if you don't have a jounce bumper, metal to metal. So we've got a progressive jounce bumper again. When you really do hit those big impacts, we try to keep that load out of your caravan. Helps your caravan last, stops your microwave being on the floor, all the things people have experienced when on those really rough tracks. And then we've, because we've done a brand new design, we've been able to put some newer technology in. So we've got a advanced sealed dual roller bearing, which is maintenance free, never has to be pulled apart, re-greased, it's a sealed unit. Same as what's in the back of your pickup truck and most modern vehicles today. And yeah, we've got adjustability and drum brakes and now disc brakes. I haven't updated my presentation, but you can see down the bottom there. Oh, sorry, clumsy. That we've used. These are really top of the line automotive companies: SKF, Munro, Tenneco, Polylast, and then we've partnered with Airbag Man, who are very experienced in the caravan industry. And I guess the significance of the rear suspension and the automotive tieback. This is the same. We think, well, we know because we've got patents. This is the first time a semi-trailing arm similar to the F-150 Lightning's been used in the caravan industry, and that kind of suspension is used in the back of these EV pickup trucks. So it's very advanced. You've got a lot of opportunity to optimise the geometry and get the right performance out of your suspension. This is the software I was talking about. So before you do any design, you can move all these points around. It's quite painstaking, sometimes by a millimetre up and left and down. And you can basically model how your wheel's going to go through its motion. And out of this kind of analysis, it's kind of like 100 data points. You're making a change. You're looking at, you know, what have you brought in, what have you upset, just to make sure your geometry is perfectly optimised before you build anything. I've got an NDI thing on the side of the screen. It's popped up. I don't know what that is. From there as well, we can also run a full vehicle model. So we model the vehicle, we model the caravan, we also model all the benchmark suspensions to compare to what we've designed. And we can run, this is something, I know it as a moose test because I work for a lot of American car companies. We'd call it a kangaroo test or a log test. It's an 80k an hour step lane change. And what we can do here is we can model that lane change and how the van settles, how it controls itself, how much extra rock and loop you get. But yeah, that's a simulation, and same as from the top. So before we've built anything, we can know how it's going to perform, we can know what it's like against the competition. So you're just looking for that quick settling of the van. Got a little rock on there, but very good settling through the geometry. And then, we get into the design phase where we design all the parts and make them. And then we also do something called CAE, Computer Aided Engineering, to model the suspension, look at where we need to make it stronger and where we can take weight out of it as well. Weight's very important for everyone caravanning and getting out there these days. I'm sure everyone's challenged with their GVM and GCMs. It's a bit of a battle what you want to take versus what you can take. And then we go into full rig testing as well. So this is just to make sure that the suspension's ultra robust. This is putting it through all the different load cases, up to 4.5 tonne, with several safety factors of safety applied. So we run a full durability test. The dampers do a 1 million cycle durability. So we know the first unit we build, we know it's durable, we know it's robust, we know it's not going to have any problems. And here's a couple of tests to show. So obviously the goal of a suspension is to take the load from the road and keep it out of your chassis. So you can see here how flat that chassis is sitting and how much work the wheels are doing. And then I've got a video from the inside showing the same thing. So our camera rocks a little bit, but that chassis, you're taking all those corrugations from the road and they're not going into your caravan. I've got a video of the Gibb River Road at the end that'll talk to that. Yeah, your wheel's doing a lot of work there to your caravan's not copping that. And same as I mentioned before on the travel, I won't show you the competitor ones, but this is our van going up and over. These are 300mm high lumps at the test track, and we're just lifting a tyre slightly there and at the bottom. Most of the benchmark testing we're lifting, you know, very early on those lumps. So once again, 4 tyres on the ground. It's safety, helps you get further, helps you load share and make sure, you know, you don't have all your weight on one single tyre. One of the other interesting things we found during our testing, which helps, you know, especially when you're on these corrugations and you're in remote Australia, is, and this is data, I'll be a bit geeky here, but the green graph there is our suspension, the white graph there is the competitor's suspension, and that's acceleration, which translates into force into your chassis. So our suspension through the softer spring, more travel, is able to run a lot less load into your caravan, which we believe is going to improve the durability of your van ongoing. And like I said, I've got a video at the end showing a couple who are driving a van without suspension around. They've done the Gibb River Road, they open up the door, the caravan's perfect. So. And then we get into the real fun part about the real world testing in Australia, where we get out and do the road. And some of this stuff I'll show you is probably more than what most of you will do with your van, and I don't necessarily recommend it, but you know, it gives peace of mind that the van can do this kind of stuff. So, and I guess just in Australia, obviously you get out to remote areas, conditions can change, so it's important you've got the right performance and the right reliability to be able to get to where you need to go and not get stuck. So this is some testing we did with urban caravans at the Tough Tested, and I'll play this video.
Diving into the caravan graveyard. You're right, it is a little bit like Gunshot on the Cape, isn't it?
It's Gunshot. There's no water in it though.
Yeah, we got the water crossing up next, but first, the big step. Oh, whoa, we're up baby. And over with the rado.
Whoa, whoa, baby.
Woo! And then straight into the water crossing. Now, what we found the quickest way across this is if you dip your nose in, create that bow wave and then stay behind the wave, you're not pushing your way through the water. So go in with a bit of pace and roll off. It is hard bottom, so you don't have to worry about getting stuck. Moved a bit of water around there. Here we are, we're actually going through the wombat holes, and this urban is dead flat.
Like being at Luna Park when I was a kid. Like, whoa, whoa.
I reckon with that fancy new suspension, it might be more comfortable on the lounge in the van, eh?
Yeah, you're probably right, you're probably right. Baby, go.
Looking good in the mirrors.
And break.
Beautiful.
Woo!
Steve, Billy, how was that?
Awesome, man. Loved it. Loved every second of it.
So Steve, we need to teach him to drive with the blindfold on. He would have won, but he stuffed up the blindfold part, so we'll train him on that. And then some real world stuff. So we've got some travellers who are going around at the moment doing the Gibb River Road. So I'll run a video now which shows what we're about. It's about that opening up Australia, getting to those places you want to do, get it in comfort, and you know, just making that Australia more accessible. It is a pretty wild place. So you know, just some more places more people can get to. You know, that we feel like we'll have done our job.
Oh, here we go. We're about to tackle a freaking little river crossing here. We got the Mount Barnett River, and I'm absolutely frothing because, yeah, this one's 800mm deep and it's with the van on. So we're going to be putting the batteries underwater here, which everyone was skeptical about, but I'm not even worried because I've done it before. But how cool is this, driving through a river with the freaking van on? Should have brought me fishing rod, caught a barramundi in here, mate. Wow, I'm frothing, eh? This is so sick. And it's a bit sandy too, so coming out, I've probably got to give it a little bit of cuzzer coming out of it. because you literally could almost get bogged. Right, yeah, we just pulled up. We're having a bit of a coffee break, but yeah, we're at the Hahn River here. We're just literally in the middle of a paddock, which is mid. But as you can see, the setup got a nice wash from that creek crossing. It was actually pretty deep. I reckon it was almost up to the side of the caravan, which if you knew, these are on 33-inch tyres, so it's pretty high up. But yeah, under the car got a nice wash. How good's that? We're just checking things, making sure everything's still tight. My number plate flipped up. That's a rookie mistake people make is, yeah, they lose number plates if you don't check them to make sure they're tight. Your little screws start coming out in the corrugations, and then one river crossing, boof, your number plate's gone. And you see it so much out here. So make sure tighten your number plate bolts up. That's another little tip from me. But anyway, have a go at this. It's absolutely spectacular. This is what it's all about. Doing about 50 Ks at a time, pulling up, checking some shit, respecting the track because it can wreck your vehicle and your setup pretty quick. So it's important to check your vehicle. The Terraglide suspension is working an absolute treat under there, as you can see. And yeah, it's actually pretty clean at the moment because we definitely got a little wash then. So anyway, Sarah's making some coffees.
How good's barista coffee?
Oh, look at that. Didn't lose any beers. They're all still good. And yeah, that's us for camp. So tomorrow we're going to head into Mitchell Falls and yeah, show you guys that because it is a pretty special spot and you do have to come out and see this if you can, if you got the right setup. So if you don't have the right setup, definitely think about coming out here, but make sure you make the right call because there's nothing out here. It's super remote and yeah, you can get yourself in a lot of strife. We'll try to show you some snippets of the road and stuff so you can make the best call possible, but yeah, nothing went wrong and thankfully we made it. So it was very, very, very rough though. This is seriously impressive. We bounced this caravan through the absolute most shittest road today. We were just hooking down it. We got it airborne. We dropped it into some freaking massive holes. Had the thing shaking and moving, and anyway, you pull up to camp and you've got this pristine, like, apartment still. Look at it. It's so nice. And, like, you're in the most remote place and you can get your caravan down here and then get to sit in it like this, and we're absolutely knackered, so we're just hiding inside. Tomorrow's going to be a massive day. We're hiking Mitchell Falls, but, yeah, seriously, seriously impressive. And the Terraglide suspension has been performing exactly how I thought it would. Absolutely killing it.
I haven't paid them a cent, so that shows you. That's better than me telling you. I guess they're out there using it, so yeah, we're really proud of that. We're also really proud we were able to win the Best New Technology Van, award from Caravan and Camping Sales, who are really one of the premium reporting in the industry. So they came out and saw us and saw our product and test drove the van and thought that was worthwhile. So, like I said, we're in the off-grid section. Your suspension is a massive part of being able to get off the grid, get to these places. You look at the comfort and luxury they're at right down on the end of the Gibb River Road, and you know that's one thing we can support the caravan industry to allow people to do that and to travel safely. So I'm over in the off-grid area. If anyone wants to come and ask any questions, please come and see me.